Ancient Greece does not refer to a single nation-state called Greece with Athens as its capital. Instead, it is used to describe an extended period encompassing different cultures, cities, rulers, and tribes. Let us focus on mainland Greece, which includes the southern part of the Balkans with the Peloponnese, Attica, and Chalcidice peninsulas projecting from it. The region of ancient Greece also comprises numerous large and small rocky islands in the Aegean Sea, as well as the western coast of modern-day Turkey, then known as Ionia. In general, scholars concur that we can speak of the earliest specifically Greek culture and civilization around 1600 BCE. It was a mysterious and prosperous Mycenaean civilization that originated on the island of Crete. The first Greek civilization emerged when the Egyptian pyramids were approximately 500 years old. Archaeological discoveries and written texts provide us with a glimpse into the lives of only the wealthy Mycenaeans. They spent their time in luxurious palaces with pools and exotic gardens, indulging in poetry, music, sports, and bullfighting. We can assume that their servants and the poor lived differently. However, the serenity and prosperity of the wealthy sharply contrasted with the uncivilized tribes of mainland Greece. The Mycenaeans invented the first writing system that we can attest to in ancient Greek culture, Linear B. This writing system was an update of Linear A, which was used by their predecessors, the Minoan civilization. The Linear B script was used to record economic transactions and represented a language similar to Greek. Greek mythology often portrayed the past as a better time and the future as worse. The golden ages mentioned in classical Greek myths were the happiest periods of the past, closely resembling the leisurely lifestyles of the Mycenaean palaces. Most myths revolve around those times. For instance, Theseus, the king of Athens, travels to the island of Crete to slay the Minotaur, a creature that was half man and half bull, devouring the brightest young people from all over Greece. The Minotaur resided in a complex labyrinth where one could easily get lost and meet their demise. The Mycenaeans settled in mainland Greece, along the Ionian coast, and on many small islands. They effectively shaped the borders around the Aegean Sea, which would become the nexus of ancient Greek civilization. On the mainland, unlike in Crete, there was the danger of invasion from other tribes and states. The palaces, which were originally open spaces, had to be transformed into fortresses with thick stone walls. Even 1,000 years after the Mycenaean civilization vanished, their Greek descendants still wondered who could have built such grand walls and cities. The ancient Greeks did not believe that their ancestors, the Mycenaeans, were responsible. They thought it was the work of giant titans and cyclopes. While the Mycenaeans engaged in warfare with the surrounding tribes, they also waged war against powerful adversaries abroad. One of their enemies was the city of Troy, near the Bosporus Strait. It appears that Homer did not merely invent the tales and legends of his epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey. In the late 19th century, a German archaeologist excavated what is believed to be the ancient sites of the cities of Mycenae and Troy. Around 1100 BCE, the Mycenaean civilization declined and subsequently disappeared, likely conquered and destroyed by tribes from the northern peninsula. Their writing skills, arts, grand cities, and navigation techniques were lost. It was a period known as the Dark Ages throughout the Mediterranean, referred to as the collapse of the Bronze Age, and little is known about what happened in the following 4 or 5 centuries. The population decreased drastically, and archaeological objects from that time indicate that people even forgot how to paint the most basic ornaments. Around 750 BCE, life returned to normal for the Greeks, who relearned navigation techniques, agriculture, and craftsmanship. Furthermore, their utensils and weapons of the time started being adorned with abstract ornaments once again. During this period, the Phoenicians were the dominant traders in the Mediterranean, and the Greeks frequently interacted with them, buying grains and construction materials. In the bustling trade, they exchanged not only material goods, the Greeks adopted their alphabet and transformed it into a new writing system. Thus, the written Greek language was born. A citizen from, let's say, Miletus, could have a different pronunciation and vocabulary compared to a citizen from Athens. However, they essentially spoke the same language. In the creation of a unified language, there is evidence of the emergence of Greek culture. These people populated the entire mainland Greece, the hundreds of islands, and the Ionian coast. They did not have a single king or pharaoh ruling over all of them. Each independent city-state, called a polis, had its own government and laws. So, again, a citizen of Miletus would not have the same rights when visiting Athens as they enjoyed in their hometown. Athens and Sparta were the most renowned city-states throughout ancient history. During the early centuries, Athens was ruled by kings and the aristocracy. The wealthy aristocrats delighted in banquets and sports games, while the poor peasants and slaves worked hard. Over time, the aristocrats had to concede to some demands, but social tensions persisted. After some reforms and revolts, a group of cunning aristocrats led by Pisistratos managed to seize absolute power. Pisistratos and his ancestors were known as tyrants, the Greek word tyrannos meaning usurper. The tyranny did not change the social structure much. People's discontent was appeased through sports games and public celebrations. In 514 BCE, two lovers, Harmodius and Aristogiton, managed to kill one of the tyrants, heroically sacrificing their own lives. After this event, Cleisthenes devised a set of laws to transform Athens into a democracy. How did this democracy work? People did not choose someone to represent their views, as we primarily do nowadays. Every male citizen aged 20 or older had the right to suggest a law or veto it on a high hill in the city center. However, women, slaves, and migrants had no political rights or representation. It may surprise you, but an ancient Athenian would say that our modern democracy is an oligarchy, meaning the rule of the few. Today, we, as citizens, delegate our powers to politicians. In an ancient democracy, every free man could become a leader of the city or a military commander, write laws, or oppose them. Sparta underwent a completely different political evolution. The Spartans were descendants of the northern tribes that conquered the Mycenaean civilization. They settled in a mountainous region of the Peloponnese Peninsula and exerted control over other tribes. Spartans lived in a kind of gigantic military camp. Men lived in barracks together. Women cared for their children only until the age of 7. According to the ancient historian Plutarch, they would kill any child born weak and sickly. Other city-states had their own political systems: monarchies, aristocracies, oligarchies, tyrannies, and so on. However, Sparta and Athens would dominate the entire history of ancient Greece, so we examine their lives a little more closely than the others. Greece is covered with forests and mountains. The ancient Greeks cultivated olives and produced wine, milk, and cheese. But there was not much fertile land and fields for cultivating dense crops. As mentioned before, they traded with other nations abroad. Gradually, they considered colonizing lands where food could be produced. For several centuries, the ancient Greeks colonized the entire Mediterranean and the Black Sea, from modern-day Spain to Ukraine and Russia. The ancient philosopher Plato later joked that the Greeks sit in the Mediterranean like frogs in a swamp. The Greeks became the dominant power in the Mediterranean region as the Assyrian, Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Lydian civilizations declined. Greek-speaking traders, politicians, and tutors could be found from the coast of modern-day France to Cyprus. At the same time, the Greeks adopted inventions and achievements from other cultures. For example, they adopted the coin minting technology from the Lydians, boosting trade and the economy. The period between 750 to 480 BCE, known as the Archaic period of ancient Greek civilization, witnessed the rise of Greek domination throughout the region. The Greeks established hundreds of colonies, traversed numerous trade routes, and established a multitude of city-states. During this period, Athens and Sparta consolidated their own political systems and acquired considerable power. When considering the legacy of ancient Greek civilization, we conclude that it is one of the most incredible civilizations in human history, leaving an invaluable legacy for the modern world. Their achievements in areas such as philosophy, art, science, literature, and politics have inspired and shaped Western culture to this day. From the creation of democracy to theater, philosophy, mythology, sports, and architecture, the ancient Greeks made extraordinary contributions to humanity. Their art and architecture influenced construction styles worldwide, while their mythology and philosophy still resonate in our contemporary culture. The Greek culture is truly fascinating and intriguing at the same time. If you also appreciate ancient Greek culture, let us know in the comments, sharing your opinion about it. It will always be a pleasure to have your participation here at Eternia History, alright? This was just a glimpse into one of the most fascinating ancient cultures in our history. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and turn on notifications, otherwise, you'll miss out on a lot of history yet to come. We sincerely thank you for staying with us until now, and we'll see you in the next video. So, see you there.